All right. I normally don't tell what our small group refers to as weird God stories. Because when you tell a weird God story, it doesn't matter how true it is or how important it is to you. It always just comes off to people who weren't there or don't understand as a weird God story. But had one that happened to me this week that I've been telling because it was just that weird and that important to me. Earlier this week, I was having a typical Monday morning and was needing to get going, and everything seemed to be going the wrong direction. You know how that is. You get up late and you're not feeling good. I was having some of my bad headaches because of the head issues that I have, and in the middle of everything else, the kids were running behind and they were being complete goofballs, and we were out of milk, and so we were running a million errands, and I had to run to Quick Shop to get some milk for the family, and then somebody called. I was supposed to teach at Sterling College that morning, as I do every Monday morning, and one of my friends from Sterling said, "Hey, could you run by and pick up a keyboard and bring it to us?" And because I have the chronic inability to say no, I said, "Sure, no problem." And then got the phone and thought, "What is wrong with you? You don't have the time to do that." Anyway, it was a complete freak out morning because things were stacking up, and then I remembered that I had a doctor's appointment, so it was a crazy morning. So what ended up happening is we rushed the kids off to school. We ran by the doctor. I went and got some milk from Quick Shop, like I said before, and then I went and got some stuff, the keyboard from Venue 302. I was on my last errand to run by the church and pick up some props before I was shooting off to class at Sterling, still about a half an hour away, and I was pushing time. I mean, I was looking at being there barely on time as it was. And it was on that little trip from picking up the keyboard at Venue 302 to the church, when I was pushing time, that I just reached down on my hand and I felt with my thumb that I was missing my wedding ring. It wasn't a big deal because sometimes I walk out of the house and I forget to put my watch and my wedding ring on, but as I looked, I realized that I had my watch on and I didn't have my ring on. And so I started to freak because I never put one on without the other. So I called Kathy. She was still at home. And I said, "Babe, seriously, look for me real quick. I have my watch, but I don't have my ring on. Please tell me it's on the dining room table." She looked and it wasn't there. And she started to look around the house. And the problem is that in the last 6-7 months, I've lost a significant amount of weight, about 75 pounds. And we've been joking because every time I put my hand down, my ring slips off. And we've been talking about how I need to get it resized. But you know how that is. You talk about how you need to do it, you should do it, but you never do. Well, now, of course, I'm freaking out because I've been to the doctor, I've been to the Quick Shop, I've been to Venue 302, and now my ring is gone. I think I've lost it. On top of that, a wedding ring's important, but these are extra special to me because Kathy and I got our wedding sets when we were flat busted poor, when we were in ministry, and we couldn't even really afford them. So we had some family jewelry that we just had melted down and reshaped, made into ours. Our entire wedding sets, both hers and mine, cost I think $110. And so I'm just sick to my stomach. I said, "Babe, please search the house." And she couldn't find anything. So she immediately got in the car and she went to some of the places that I had been, and she started to check. Couldn't find anything. Well, I went to the church and finished my errands, and I knew I was already going to be late, but I didn't care. I went back to the Quick Shop and I searched there, and then I went back to the house. I knew I was going to be late. I looked in the yard, I looked under the place where I would have parked the car, I looked throughout the house. I'm now running about 10 minutes late, and I'm the teacher for class. Anyway, I can't find it. I'm beyond upset. I'm just mad. I jump in my truck. I punch it. I didn't even know my truck would do this. Tire squeal. I rip out of there. I'm tooling down the road, and I'm just flat mad. I look on my GPS, and the GPS tells me that I'm going to be at least 10 minutes late for class. And once again, I'm the teacher. And so I push it. I'm running at least 10 to 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, and I'm just fuming as I'm going down the road. I'm about halfway to Sterling when I realized that, well, I guess I didn't realize, I guess God starts whispering to me. I don't know, if there are any other preachers who are watching this, you'll understand this. Have you ever started listening to your own sermons? Because the day before, on Sunday, I had been preaching about rebellion. And one of the points in my message was that your rebellion is a big deal to God. It doesn't matter what it is. And I started really sensing that even me just going over the speed limit a little bit, and I was going over a lot, was a big deal to God. Other people have big sins, and I may think that others are bigger than mine, but to God, me speeding was a big deal. And so in that moment, even though I was mad, and even though I was going to be late, and there was nothing I could do about it, I just slowed down. I took a minute, I popped off the cruise control, and I put it back in the legal limit. Okay. Here's the weird God story part. The minute that I slowed down, and I had gone through the house, I had gone through the businesses, I had torn my truck apart looking for that ring. The minute I slowed it down, right there in the middle of the passenger side floorboard, was my ring. Now, I'm not going to claim to you that an angel put it there. I'm not going to say that it dropped out of heaven or God materialized. I'm not going to say anything like that because that would be an ultra weird God story. But what I'm saying to you is this. God cares about your rebellion. And no matter what it is, it's a big deal to Him. And He wants us to get it under control. So whatever it is that you're doing that you might not think is that big a deal, just understand this. He's your Father, and we're His children. And whatever we're doing that's disobedient, it's such a big deal to Him. He wants us to obey. And it's worth it to us and to Him to get our lives under control. I know it's a weird God story, but deal with it. It's mine. I got my ring back. Many blessings. I think I'll get it fixed.